The reasons I stayed here is because I thought Hillary Clinton would win. We'd have a woman president, and so there would be a woman not with a seat at the table, but at the head of the table for the world.
But you haven't made the progress then that you think you should have made, right?
We're never satisfied. We're never satisfied. We wanted to have a woman president, but when we didn't, then I couldn't walk away and say, okay, just let all the men have the seats at the table that are making decisions for our country. But I'm proud of what the Democrats have done, and in the Senate as well. But we want more. Nothing is more wholesome for our political process and for our government than to have the increased participation of women. Democrats and Republicans are declined to state whatever they are, because it really makes a difference. It doesn't mean women are better than men. It just means you have to have the mix. The beauty is in the mix.
Yeah, I think this was a notable remark by her. She had indicated previously that, if Hillary Clinton had won, she might have stepped aside. But in our interview, she went a little further and said, I wanted to stay to make sure there was a woman at the table, that if I left, maybe there wasn't going to be one. But she also said, wanted to stick around to protect the Affordable Care Act, which is really her baby. Let's talk midterms here a little bit. You've got an opportunity. Yeah. What are the chances of the Democrats taking back the House?
Very excellent. And I say that, but I would not have said it like 6 months ago, because 6 months ago, we would not have known what the president's number would be in October. I always say to people, just see where the president, whatever party is, a year before the election. And Clinton, he won, we lost. Bush, president, his numbers went down, we won. Obama, his numbers went down, they won. And now this president, we don't even have to take his numbers down. He is self-immolating. And so at this point is when, if any of your listeners were planning to run for Congress or office, any office, and the president of your party was below 50 or 40, you might say, I'll run another time.
So her argument and belief is that Donald Trump's relatively low popularity numbers around the country actually keep Republicans from running for Congress or from running for re-election.
Certainly running for Congress or jumping in, and some are deciding not to run again. We're seeing that in both the House and the Senate. It's going to be a tough time for them, and you're hearing all this bubbling up about primaries from the right for a lot of Republicans. So some folks are looking at it and washing their hands. How would Washington change if the Democrats won? I know some of your members want to immediately start impeachment, but what would that be like? Intense oversight? How would it be different?
Well, the one big difference between Democrats and Republicans that I mentioned earlier was that we do believe in bipartisanship. So you would see something different from what they did. We worked with President Bush, even though he took us into the war in Iraq on the basis of a falsehood. What could be worse than that? When they want to describe how bad President Trump is, what could be worse than that, and all that sprang from that?
I was struck by that. I mean, in her party at this moment, you can sometimes hear the sky is falling refrain, that there's something unique about the Trump presidency that they see as a threat and a menace. And what Nancy Pelosi is saying is, what could be worse than the second war in Iraq that I looked beyond, that I got over, and still worked with the president who caused it?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting point, that she doesn't want to get out there now and say, hey, if we get the House back, we're going to impeach the president right away. That's not what she wants to be running on, because who do they need to appeal to? They need to appeal to independents, swing voters. Most Democrats see that as the smart political play right now. Nancy Pelosi is already used by Republicans as a cudgel against Democratic candidates. She doesn't want to add to that by saying it's not only Nancy Pelosi, but she's vowing to impeach President Trump. She's not going to go there. I think the members of Congress get that.
If they want to compare us, I would like the public to know that Paul Ryan wants to remove the guarantee from Medicare. I think that's really more important to people than whether I support LGBT rights, which is what that's their dog whistle, liberal from San Francisco. I'm very proud of that. And he's proud of the fact that he wants to remove the guarantee from Medicare. It's in his budget. So if you want to compare what it means in terms of policy, let's do it.
In many people's minds, the Democrats have failed to connect with working class America's economic anxieties. And she talked about this reputation that the Democratic Party has for being associated with what critics of it would call identity politics, race, ethnicity, and sexuality.
I thought her answer was very interesting. First, she says, well, the Republicans do it because they're bankrupt and bereft of ideas. So this is the only way that they can win.
We have to have a very positive agenda on a better deal in terms of the economic security of America's families. That's really what the election is about.
But she did, to her credit, manage to a couple of times sneak in the new Democratic slogan and talking point of a better deal, where they're trying to show once again that they can appeal to blue-collar and economically struggling America. And yeah, I think the fact that they had to come up with that is an admission that they fell short the last time, and they need to improve along those lines. If you were able to get the House back and become Speaker, would you see that as a kind of redemption for yourself, that you were able to return to that after that defeat?
I don't need any redemption. I've been the first woman Speaker of the House of Representatives. I have been able to pass a bill that provided health insurance for 20 million Americans. I can go through. Well, self-promotion is a terrible thing, but somebody has to do it, I guess, and I'm happy to do it if nobody else will. No, I'm very proud of what it is. It isn't about me becoming Speaker. It's about the 1 in 5 children in America who lives in poverty. It's about the fact that the president's in denial about climate. It's about the fact that gun safety is something the American people support, but we can't get a vote on. It's about a woman's right to choose. It's about LGBT issues. So it's about that. But most importantly, all of those things are part of who we are. But in terms of our relationship with the public, it's about a better deal. Better jobs, better pay, better future. Equipping families with the tools to take them to their place into the future. And the economy is what it's all about. The rest of it is, again, part of our value system. But the election's going to be about the economy.